Um, Hi everyone, and thanks for coming. Welcome. This webinar, your cameras are off and you are muted. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat box or the Q&A questions, or you can raise your hand and we will invite you to come off mute to ask your question. We are going to do this webinar um, series as part of the grant with the ARC-US, AT&T, and the ARC of San Francisco. The curriculum we are using today was developed by them. This webinar will be recorded and posted online on our YouTube page. Today's agenda. Um, What is video conferencing? Skill building, joining meetings, creating a Zoom, yeah, creating a personal Zoom account, recognizing common features, scheduling an online meeting, and tips and tricks for hosting and practice. Um, do you guys have any experience of video conferencing? Um, it'd be cool if someone like raised their hand or said something in the chat. And I can tell you from going and going and being on several different councils and commissions and having friends all over the country. Um, I have been an admin at one time for my friends that I met over in Washington State and um, have helped and started meetings with them and been in lots of meetings for the commissions that I sat on.
Yeah, I think that's my experience too, Sean. Is very similar to yours, where the majority of the time, if I'm video conferencing, which, you know, Zoom, Zoom is mostly the video conferencing app I use, but usually if I'm on a Zoom, it's for work. However, in 2020, when everyone was staying at home a lot at the beginning of the pandemic, I also would use Zoom to see my family or hang out with my friends. So it's a really helpful way to be able to see people face to face and spend time with them without actually being in the same room as them. I don't see anything in the chat or Q&A, but I'll keep watching it. But we can go ahead and go to the next slide.
Um, Video conferencing, a live meeting between two or more people online. The most common tools are Zoom, Teams, and Google Meets. I'm really familiar with Zoom and Teams, but I'm not really familiar with Google Meets because I don't think I may have used that and not known it, but I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, and in today's workshop, in today's webinar, we're going to be talking about Zoom specifically. That's going to be kind of the examples that we are going to be using today. So, for a lot of us, the first time we're going to use video conferencing tool, first time we're going to join a Zoom meeting is when someone else invites us to a meeting. So, typically, you would receive, oh, I'm going to pause
Yeah,
and
Aaron
read.
type something.
Yeah, do you want to read it, Sean?
Yeah, this is Aaron. But I have been in the same situation as Sean where I have started Zoom meetings and have been in plenty of Zoom calls.
Yeah. So a lot of people use Zoom for work or for their self advocacy work that they do. Erin and I actually were on a Zoom call this morning. So, yeah, Erin definitely is no stranger to Zoom. Thank you for sharing that, Erin. Um, Going back
And,
here to, oh, go ahead, Sean.
sorry. Uh, and well, actually, almost all of my meetings with my commissions and uh, stuff that I'm on are virtual. So that I wish they were in person, but virtual because there's people not in the same city as I am, and there's a lot of people that's outside of Indianapolis, so that's more accessible for everybody. So
Yeah. And so when you get invited to join those meetings, you typically receive that invitation through email. So what we've got on the screen here is a sample of what an email invitation to a Zoom meeting might look like. I know it is a little bit small, so I'm going to do my best to describe what is on the slide here. So it's a little snapshot, a screen grab of an email. And you can see here the subject line is parent teacher conference. And the body of the email just says, Ms. Brown is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting. So it will always say the name of the person who is inviting you and that they are inviting you to a scheduled Zoom. Below that, you're going to see what the topic is, the name of the Zoom meeting. So in this example that's on the slide is parent teacher conference. Um, for this meeting that you're all on now, it's a webinar, but it says AT&T digital literacy webinar. It tells you what the topic is, what you're going to be talking about in that Zoom meeting. And then it will also, oops, I am so sorry, got ahead of myself there. It also is going to tell you the time and date. So it's going to tell you the full date. So, for example, today is March 31st, 2026. And then it's also going to tell you the time and the time zone. So, a cool thing about Zoom is that it can tell what time zone you're in. So right now, it is a little after 12 in the Eastern time zone, which is where Indianapolis is. But our friends down south in the Evansville area, as well as our friends up north in kind of the Chicago area, they're on Central time. So it's actually 11 where they are. And Zoom will correct for that. So if our friends who are in Evansville would get a email saying that this Zoom started at 11, and our friends in the Indianapolis area would get one saying that it started at 12, which I think is a really cool feature and definitely helps me when I'm traveling across the state, sometimes forgetting what time zone I'm in. So I appreciate that. Then it's also going to have the join Zoom meeting link, and this is a hyperlink, and you can tell it's a hyperlink, something you can click on because it has turned blue and it is underlined. So whenever you're ready to join your Zoom meeting, you just need to click on that link and it will take you to the Zoom room. Also, and this is just a little bit zoomed in, so I'm glad we have this here. It also has some other ways you can access the meeting. So if you aren't able to join the Zoom meeting on your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone, you can still attend the meeting, even if you don't have access to the internet. And that is by calling in. So you see here, there are some phone numbers. When calling in from your phone, you'll use the telephone keypad to enter the meeting ID and passcode. So you see here, right under that link, there is a set of numbers that is the ID or the identification. Lots and lots of people have Zoom meetings every day, so this is a special number specifically for the meeting you were invited to. And then it also has a passcode, and this is just a password to help you get into that meeting and to prevent anyone who wasn't invited to the meeting from joining. So the first time you use Zoom, especially if you're going to be using it on a tablet or a smartphone, you are going to be asked to download and open the Zoom app. For those of you who were in previous sessions of this webinar series, we talked a little bit about what apps or applications are. It's just different tools that you can use on a computer or phone. We're actually going to be really digging into Androids next week and then iPhones the week after that. So we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. But in order to access a Zoom meeting from a tablet or a smartphone, you will have to download the app. And it sometimes will also ask you to download the app if you are accessing it on a computer, but you can also access it through zoom.com on a computer. You don't necessarily need to download it. So once you install it, there's going to be a pop-up window, something that comes up on your screen when you press that link, and it's going to ask you to open the app. So you can click on open that app, and then that will take you to your meeting. So once you've logged into the meeting, this is what you're going to see. I would assume that all of you saw this right before you hopped onto this webinar. It is going to be a white box, and in white text in a blue box inside of that box, there is going to be something that says join with computer audio. This is giving your computer or your tablet, your smartphone, permission to use the microphone and speakers so that you're able to speak and hear the Zoom meeting. And once you click that join with computer audio, you are going to enter the meeting. So I'm going to pause there for a moment. If there are any questions, because I just talked for a pretty long time, so I want to give everyone an opportunity, if they have any questions, to raise their hand and come off of mute and ask their questions, or go ahead and put those in the chat or question and answer box.
So, Becky, when you do this on your cell phone,
Mhm.
um, will it be the same way as it shows on here, or will it show up different?
It will be slightly different, and that we're actually going to talk a little bit about that later on too, um, because the cell phone screen is smaller than typically what your laptop screen or your tablet screen would be. You are going to have to swipe a little bit. There's a few different screens that you can choose to look at. That is a good question, Sean. I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A or chat, so I'm going to keep moving. So like I said, you click join with computer audio, that brings you into the meeting. And then during that meeting, Zoom is going to be using your computer or your smartphone tablets, microphone and speakers. Um, or for example, me, you see me almost every week wearing these headphones. I connect these headphones to my computer. So I actually hear my Zoom meetings through my headphones. So I did already talk a little bit here about when you don't have access to the internet or you don't want to use the microphone if your computer's microphone or sound system is broken, you do again have the option to call into the meeting. Um, and you aren't going to be able to see you. So in this meeting, right, you can see my face, you can see Sean's face, you can see the slides that I'm sharing. If you call into a meeting, you're just going to hear audio. So you're only going to hear the voices of the people who are in the meeting.
I will say I've been in meetings, Becky, where the people were on video, but their audio didn't work, and then they had to call in,
Mhm.
and it worked that way.
Yeah, that's thank you for bringing that up, Sean. So if video is important for you, I mean, I know for me, I learn really a lot by being able to see slides, or I can listen better if I can see the person who is speaking. So if you're ever in the scenario where your computer, for some reason, the microphone or the audio is not working, but you can see everyone, then you can also still stay on camera, not hear anything through your computer, but call in on your telephone. And it doesn't have to be a smartphone. It can also be like, if anyone still has one of these, like I do, you could actually use that type of phone to call in as well. So, we're going to talk a little bit about creating a Zoom account and walk you through the steps of how to create your own Zoom account. You don't have to have an account of your own to join a Zoom meeting, but if you are interested in ever hosting your own meeting, which means creating a meeting that you invite people to, you will need your own Zoom account. So, we're going to talk a little bit about hosting a meeting later on in today's webinar. So we wanted to also give you the instructions for how to create an account if you don't have one yet. So when you're creating an account, the first thing you're going to do is go to zoom.us, .us because we're in the United States. And there is going to be an orange button at the top that says sign up. It's going to be right in the upper right hand corner of that main web page that pulls up when you put in zoom.us. There are going to be some prompts. So it's going to ask you, are you older than 18? It's going to ask you to verify your age. You just follow along. Those are going to pop up on the screen as you work through them. Last week, you all learned about how to set up email addresses, which is good because you do need an email address to be able to create a Zoom account. So after you verify your age, it is going to ask you to enter your email address, and then you all you do after that is click sign up. After you hit that sign up button, Zoom is going to send you an email. This is Zoom's way of making sure that the email address that you entered is a valid and working email address. And so inside that email, there's going to be a confirmation link. And this also is going to be a hyperlink, which I talked about a little bit ago. Hyperlinks are anything that are clickable and that take you to a website. So you can always tell if it's a hyperlink because it will usually be bright blue and it will be underlined. Once you click that confirmation link, it's going to take you to the next step of creating your Zoom account, which is entering your name and then creating a password. If you have difficulty like me remembering all your passwords, I have a lot of different passwords for a lot of different things. It is a good idea to write down your password and keep it somewhere safe and secure. So not someplace where other people can come across it. I would never put a password on like a sticky note and stick it on my desk. But maybe if you have the Notes app on your smartphone, there are also password managers. So there are actually applications that you can download that will keep track of all of your passwords for you. And then once you've created your password, put it down someplace where you'll remember it if you need to. All you have to list to hit then is continue, and that finishes the registration process. So, 7 steps to create a Zoom account doesn't get much easier than that. I will pause before going to the next slide just to let everyone absorb. Again, I talked a lot there on this slide, so if there are questions, now's your opportunity to raise your hand, put something in Q&A or chat.
They might also, Becky, send you a text on your phone to make sure that it's you, or am I thinking of if somebody's trying to change your password without you knowing? Am I thinking of that?
So you do have the option of adding your cell phone number. That's called two-factor authentication. So if you wanted to make your Zoom account extra secure, or just add an extra layer of security in case someone were to try to hack into your Zoom account, you can give them your cell phone number so that then when you try to log in, you'll have to put in not just your password, but we'll also have to put in a confirmation code that is then texted to your cell phone. We do have a question here um, asking, does it cost to create an account with Zoom? That's a really good question. You can create a free account with Zoom. So it doesn't cost anything, but there are some limitations with the free accounts. So with a free account, you're only going to be able to have a meeting that is, I believe it's up to an hour. So any after an hour, even if you're in the middle of the sentence, it cuts you off, ends the meeting right then. Free accounts also limit the number of people who can join your meeting. So if you're wanting to have a meeting with a really large group of people, that might be something where you would need a paid account. Great question. All right. So now we are, I've got a screenshot here on this slide that shows you what you will see once you created your account and logged into Zoom. So you do have the opportunity to put a profile picture. If you have a profile picture in your Zoom, then if you ever need to go off camera, it will actually show your profile picture. So you still hear me talking, you don't see my face anymore, but you do see my profile picture. So that's one of the reasons why you may want to put a profile picture if you ever have to be off camera and still want people to know who's speaking. There's also just basic profile information, your first and last name, also your display name. So you're able to put here what people see. So for the purposes of work emails, I typically, or work Zoom calls, I typically have my first and last name. But if I were ever joining a Zoom call with just friends or a socialize, an opportunity to socialize with folks, I probably wouldn't put Becky Shields. I'd probably just put Becky, because if I'm just meeting with my friends, they know what my last name is. There also on the side here are some other sections of your profile you can go to. You can go to your meetings. If you click on this, you can see all the scheduled meetings you have. There's also a tab here to go to any scheduled webinars. I will note that's another thing that doesn't come included with a free Zoom account. It does cost extra to have the webinar feature of a Zoom account. Um, then also your recording. So you are given the option to record your Zoom meetings. If it's something, for example, like this webinar, where after the meeting is over, we take that recording and put it on YouTube so that folks who are not able to attend are still able to watch and see the content. And this is where you would access those recordings in your personal account. Also in the top right here, and I apologize, it looks like this orange box is a little bit askew. I think that it was meant to be right around here where it says join a meeting. But then there's also an option here to click to schedule a Zoom meeting, as well as an option to host a Zoom meeting. All right. So then when you're inside, and I'm not Sean, are the orange boxes in the incorrect places for you too, or is it my computer doing something funky?
No, it's been in the wrong places.
Okay, I apologize. These were right when I looked at them yesterday. I'm not quite sure what happened. Um, but next we have another screen grab here, just to show you some common participant features of a Zoom meeting. So this orange box is meant to be much lower. Um, Along the bottom of your screen, if you're using a computer or a tablet, there will be a series of different buttons. So I would say the most important two are at the bottom left, the gray microphone icon that says mute, and then also a gray video camera icon that starts and stops your video. So I showed you earlier, you do have the option in Zoom meetings to start and stop your video. You also have the opportunity to mute yourself. Muting yourself is important if you are in a loud or noisy environment and you're not the one speaking. So, for example, if when Sean was talking earlier, someone came into my office and started talking, I would hit the mute button so that people wouldn't be able to hear what's happening on my end of the computer.
Well, and if somebody was in your office, not only would you mute, you would also turn your camera off.
I probably would. That's right. Then also at the bottom screen here, we have the security button that allows various security things which Sean is going to talk you through a little bit later. There's also a participants button, which allows you to see the names of everyone who is on the Zoom meeting with you. Right in the middle, there is a little chat box that opens the chat. So if you have a question, like in this webinar, we've had some folks put questions in the chat. If you're not comfortable coming off mute or speaking, you can use the chat feature. There also is a green button that says share screen. You won't always see this. You will always see this if you are a host. But if you are a participant just joining the Zoom meeting, this isn't always made available to you. But what this button does, it allows the people on the call to see what's on your computer screen. So the reason that you all are seeing this PowerPoint is because I'm sharing my computer screen with you so you can follow along. We also have the record button and then the reactions button. So I think Sean wants to demonstrate a couple of things for everyone with the reactions and then also with some of the fun, silly features that you can do. And Sean has raised his hand, so I'm going to throw it over to him and mute myself
I
so
did
that he
not
has the
mean to
floor.
do that. Um, I don't have the reactions. That's weird. I only have the raised hand thing right at the moment. That's weird. You're on mute.
See, I was talking. We didn't plan that. That was accidental. But because I had muted myself, you all couldn't hear me. Um, so
That's
Sean, what I'm gonna
yesterday. Yesterday I had all that and I was showing you some stuff That's weird today.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop sharing. I think that might give you back the screen you're used to seeing, so you can show them all of the options with the video and reaction. So let's stop the share. Now, are you able to see your normal screen?
I see it, but it's not letting me do anything. That's so weird. Yeah, it's not letting me do anything.
Oh,
Yesterday it worked perfect. Oh, it could be because we're in a webinar.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry, folks. We won't get to see that. Sean, can you do the video demonstration of what you can do with your video, please?
No, it won't let me do that either.
It's letting me do it.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it though. Go
Hmm.
ahead, Becky.
Well, because this is a webinar, there appears to be different rules. I apologize for the technical issue that we didn't prepare for. Um, if you ever wanted to be silly, this is not something you would do in a professional meeting, but if you ever wanted to be silly with your friends, there are also fun avatars like this. So it looks like this person is talking, but it's just a silly little avatar. I'm going to go ahead and go back then to the PowerPoint.
Oh, here we go. Now that's weird.
Is it letting you do it now? Okay.
I had to click a, I had to click something back. It was clicked over, and it was should have been over that on the other ways. But you can download. Sorry, Becky.
No, we're
You
fine.
guys can download moving. What are those called? Um,
Like a background,
yeah, moving backgrounds, but you have to, if you're on an iPhone, you got to look up iPhone moving backgrounds and etc. But there's some really cool things that you can do. Um, like you can do like backgrounds like that. I wouldn't have that, but um, let me get out of this one and show you guys some other cool things. Like Becky, I have my favorite um avatar, and it's this dude or whatever he is. Um, and then there is all sorts of other stuff you can do. Let's see, birthday hat. You can just put all kinds of stuff on this uh, that you want. You can change the color of your background, I do believe. Let me see. Oh no, it's not going to let me do that, but okay. But you can download all sorts of stuff to your like virtual backgrounds, your avatars, video filters. You can download a lot of things that you want to have that you would like. And then, okay, I think that's all I can do.
thanks for that demonstration, Sean. So those are just some fun, silly things that Zoom allows you to do. If you do follow the steps to create your own Zoom account, that could be a fun activity for you and your group to kind of play around with some of the silly features of Zoom. So Sean had asked this question earlier. The features if you are seeing it on a mobile device. So you can use a mobile device if it has a working camera to join a Zoom meeting. Like we said earlier, you will need to have the Zoom app installed on your phone to do that. Um, Depending on which mobile device you use for video conferencing, so depending on if you're an iPhone user, an Android user, use something else, some options may be slightly different. They might be in a different location on your screen. But this is an example of what you may see. You see the mute button is still there, the start and stop video button, and the participant tabs are still at the bottom of the screen. You don't have quite as many options at the bottom of your screen if you're using a mobile device. This is just because the screen isn't as big, but there are three little dots in the corner that say more. And if you click more, you can see the other features like chat and the different reactions that you can click.
It'll also show like different like squares um that you can also the little squares also are the screen options that you can press, and there's one that you can press that will be everybody in the meeting, that so that way you can see everybody, or you could just swipe over your screen.
Yes. So when you join a Zoom meeting on your mobile device, at least when you join on an iPhone, it usually is going to default to just showing what your camera sees, which is you. But like Sean said, you can swipe, you can use your finger to drag it across your smartphone screen, and it will give you different options. So typically, you can see everyone who is on camera, so, kind of like the Brady Bunch. I hope I'm not dating myself, but little faces in different squares so you can see everyone who's interacting with the meeting. Or you can also swipe again to see if there are any slides or screens that are being shared. So, if you wanted to follow along with the PowerPoint, you would maybe have to swipe, drag your finger across the screen to get to the slides tab. And again, that's just because the screen on a mobile phone is so much smaller than on a computer. So they aren't able to fit everything all on one screen. All right. So we have another question. When on a meeting, instead of your name showing up when you turn off the camera, how do you have it to have a picture of you come up instead? That's a great question. So in order to have a picture, so that's again, when I turn off my camera, you see a photo of me rather than just my name. You do have to have a Zoom account to make that feature happen. So I'm going to go back a couple of slides here. Um, so here is the home screen once you have created your Zoom account. Oops, sorry. And right here is where you can select your profile picture. So if you've created your own Zoom account and you have uploaded a profile picture, from then on, if you ever turn off your camera, go off camera, Zoom will default to showing that profile picture. So it will show your profile picture rather than just your name. That was a great question. All right. Now allow me to get back to where we were. All right. Um, so Sean is going to give us some hosting tips.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared. I was trying to um down put on my Zoom on my phone so I could show people what we were talking about. So that's what I was doing. Where are we? I'm sorry.
We're on hosting tips.
Oh, okay. Um, so when you're the meeting host, you're the one who is in control of the meeting. Here are some tips to make sure you have the best meeting possible. The meeting host features are in the menu at the bottom of your screen. Since you've been in a meeting as a host, you've been or you've seen the features on the toolbar, but we haven't discussed them before now. If you're not a meeting host, you won't be you won't see these features, which is true because you're the only one. You and the co-host should be able to see the features. Here are some tips related to using the security features. Tip 1. You can Oh, okay. My mind is racing so fast that it's not processing, but you can lock a meeting after it starts. This keeps anyone unwanted from entering the meeting. So I will tell you, when Aaron and I were on Zooms, sometimes on Zooms when with our friends in Washington State and other states, that a couple of times we had to have um, the host at the time um, kick somebody out because they hacked into our meeting and they were like saying bad things to everybody. And so we had to lock it after we kicked them out. So that's one thing because sometimes people can get into your meeting without there's like back doors that people do. I don't know how, but anyways, that's how you can lock it, but you can also lock it before you start your meeting.
And this works just the same way that locking a door does, right? So if I ever was having a private meeting in the office, maybe I would go into the room and lock the door. Um, that's the same way for this. If you want to prevent other people from coming into your meeting, you can make sure everyone who you want on the meeting is in there and then lock it.
Um, Tip 2. You can enable the waiting room so you only let people in that you want to attend. That also helps when you don't know the person that is trying to get in. It could be a scammer or someone that wants to cause harm by verbally abusing people. So that will give you the it'll show you who's trying to get in. So that's what I'm trying to say. Tip 3, consider what features you want participants to be able to do, such as unmute themselves, share their screen, or chat. You can adjust these features before the meeting begins, or you can take care of that during the meeting. Like if somebody's talking too much and not letting other people talk, then you can like mute them and make it so they can't unmute unless they raise their hand. Tip 4. If someone un if someone is unwanted enters your meeting, you can use the remove participant feature to remove them. That person cannot rejoin the meeting until you allow them. Or sometimes if you reject someone out or eject someone out of the meeting, sometimes it won't let them come back or until the next meeting. So sometimes they can't automatically come back. That's how Zoom works sometimes. Um, as as the host, you also have more features available in the participants panel. Here are a few more tips. Tip 5. If someone will be making a presentation or speaking for a long time, you can mute everyone in a meeting using the mute all button. This is helpful to keep background noise to a minimum. That button helps a lot, especially if someone from like um, like I used it when COVID was happening and I did the social thing. I forget what it was called, but during COVID, when the lieutenant governor came on and talked, we muted everyone so she could have the floor and nobody interrupted her until at the end. Then we unmuted people so they can talk. Tip six, if feedback sound is coming from a participant and they aren't able to mute themselves, you can mute that person by clicking the mute button next to their name. Um, if you want to keep a recording of the meeting, you can use the record feature. This will have or save a recording of the meeting to your computer or online Zoom account. Tip 7. Always let people know when you plan to record a meeting. That's just polite. This is being polite and courteous. And so that way they aren't surprised at the end when you tell them. Tip 8. As the host, it's important for you to end the meeting when it's over. To end the meeting, you click on the end. Then click the end meeting for all. As you might expect, this ends the meeting for all participants. Does anybody have any questions? I guess not. Did you read that in the chat?
Yes, we answered that question
Okay,
already.
okay.
So I'm not seeing any hands raised. Um, so maybe Sean, you can go ahead and start this review and we can see if anyone drops a question in the chat while you're talking.
Okay. Congratulations. Thanks uh, for being on. And today you learned about video conferencing, building built skills to join online meetings, use common participant features, schedule a meeting and invite others, discovered useful tips to host an online meeting. And um, it says to link survey. Then you got it marked out for me on here. So do you want them to click on that or the to take a picture? Okay, so take a
Yep.
picture of this and it will help our funders know that we are doing our job.
Yeah. Yeah, this QR code goes just to a little bit of a survey for you all to fill out about what's working well, what you'd like to see different about these webinars, not only to let our funders know that we are sharing this information, but so we can make it better for you all. And so that we can continue to improve so that you all can learn as much as possible. I really wanted to thank everyone for joining. We actually got through that pretty quickly. So we will be wrapping up a little bit earlier today, giving everyone about 10 minutes back of their lunchtime. And we will be back next week. As a reminder, these webinars are every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. We are going to be continuing learning. Next week is going to be about Android devices. So if you use an Android device, you definitely don't want to miss that. We're going to be talking about those smartphones. And we will continue every Tuesday. Our last one is going to be on May 5th. So we've still got a full month and then some of these sessions. So thank you all, everyone, for joining. Once you've scanned that QR code, you're welcome to hop off. We'll probably stay on just for a couple more minutes just to make sure there aren't any final questions. And then we will be hopping off as well. So I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Tuesday. And thank you again for joining.